Hey everyone, Connie here, and this is a update regarding the video I posted the other day about the Mega Stream tier system that I was doing now, and some general stuff related to that. Just to put it simply, I was being talked to by by a specific member of the viewer community here on this channel, and it was brought up to me that yeah, there were some issues with this all, because some of the stuff I mentioned in that video with the tier system, especially with this new tier about like, oh, you donate you get one of these specific games on Steam for me and whatnot, uh, likely for the streams and all, and or at least Let's Plays. And I'll react to any show you want with no chance of dropping it, and that can include any show I've reacted to in the past and dropped. And so I brought up examples like Oban and Dofus and whatnot, and shows that I dropped. But it was brought to my attention that these were shows that I dropped without ever actually following my own adherence to my qualification for dropping. Basically, what I've always said is that I will only drop a show if one of a couple things happens. One, I am just completely, totally undesiring to continue on with it. I really just do not want to continue. Or there's time constraints. Time constraints can cause, where I need to cut back on shows and all that. And it's sometimes it'll be like, oh, well, I want to focus on some other shows, and let's just cut this out instead of putting it on a hold or something. And that's happened with a few shows. But it was brought up to me that with these shows, it's I dropped them, especially like Oban and Dofus. I dropped them, but it never reached a point to where I disliked the shows or anything. I never really adhered to my own qualifications for dropping, and I kind of just dropped them because I was kind of meh on them at the moment. And I felt kind of bored watching them. Let's put it that way. I felt kind of bored and just didn't want... And every week when it came to reacting to that point, to those episodes, I would always be kind of apathetic towards it. I would always find myself making excuses not to do it. And it was more along the lines of I found myself unenthused about reacting to it. But I still enjoyed the shows at the same time, to a good enough point still where I shouldn't have dropped them. I should have continued giving them a chance because I was still enjoying each episode that I watched. I was just at points finding it hard to be enthused to actually watch. You know what I mean? But it was brought up to me, and it was basically mentioned that it didn't seem fair, especially for Dofus and Oban, which were both donated through Mega Streams. Basically, someone donated money or a game to my Steam for the Mega Streams and stuff, and this was their reward for that. I reacted to those shows. But both of those shows I dropped. And they're right. It doesn't seem fair that I did that, especially without really disliking it or having a real reason to drop it. It was even stated, if I had a real legit reason to drop it, if I really didn't like it or really didn't want to continue, that's one thing. But it never reached that point, and I just kind of dropped it from a feeling of meh. So it felt kind of unfair to those people who donated actual money, whether they did it through getting me a game on Steam or giving me the money through PayPal. It's still donating actual money. It feels unfair, right? And I agree with that. So I've been thinking about it since that conversation was had, and here's what I think I'm going to do. I think I'm going to bring these shows back at some point. It won't be right away because we have our plate full right away with reactions and stuff. We have quite a few things, but I will bring them back at some point. in the semi-near future, whenever we can get to them, whenever we can open up a space, and I will continue reacting from where we left off. And those shows, if I ever get to the point where I do feel like I'm just completely uninterested in continuing, then that's a reason to drop it. If I ever get to a point where I really just don't like the show, that's a reason to drop it. But only once I get to those points. And it can happen an episode into continuing. Or it could happen a few episodes down the line, or not even until much later on in the series. Now, I was told that Dofus, it might not be a good idea to continue that because there will still be a lot of episodes that I just don't end up liking. But I've decided I'm going to do that one as well because I'm mostly just going to do it with specifically that and Oban. And the reason is, again, because those ones were the ones that were donated for. Because those were rewards for donations, I feel this kind of obligation now to live up to my own promises. So even if I do end up dropping Dofus again, it will be for a real reason this time. I'm going to continue to give it a chance. I will continue to give it a chance. And if there's a lot of episodes I just don't like or feel kind of apathetic towards, then there is. And again, if I end up dropping it at some point, then I will. But I feel like I feel a need to really give it another shot. But the Mega Stream tier with all of that will still remain open, but it will be for stuff that I dropped for like more legitimate reasons, or stuff that I dropped for time constraint reasons. You know, stuff like Adventure Time or Middle Manager Tonagawa. The stuff that I dropped because I needed to save on time at the point, because I was just, at that time I didn't have, well, the time to be able to record as much. Stuff like that. Again, Adventure Time, Middle Manager Tonagawa, Ancient Magus' Bride, that kind of stuff. So if you want to see those kind of shows, yeah, all you have to do is donate for the Mega Stream, I believe it was Tier 3. And yeah, those kind of shows will still be game, but shows like Oban and Dofus will be taken out of that, because those are the ones that I'm going to just get back to when I can. And will just be, you know, when I can get to them. Now, other ones that were like poll voted, those ones don't have as much of a, well, pun intended, they don't have much of a poll. They don't have as much of a reason to really feel bad about, honestly, because there was no actual money or any big stakes given to make those reactions happen. For example, K-On! Season 2. K-On! Season 2 is another one I dropped kind of for the same reasons as Dofus and Oban. I just felt like the plot was not really going anywhere, or I wasn't excited to get to it every week or whatnot. But with K-On! Season 2, I know where that's going. I mean, like, I don't know, like, the full plot-wise where it's going, but I know how the show runs. I know how that show is handled. And at the same time, again, it's not something that has this huge weights behind it with the money issue. It was just kind of voted on, and it was tied with Inuyashiki. So that one I'm kind of on the edge about. That one might just remain in the qualification for the poll tier. Or not the poll tier, the Mega Stream tier. So, I mean, if you do want to donate and have me react to that again in the future, then you can. But yeah, I'm not gonna like make that one into one of the ones that I will react to again. I will be bringing back because I just feel like that one is, again, it just doesn't have as much of a pull to it. It doesn't have that much of a. I don't feel as bad about dropping it as I do about the others, because again, with the others, people donated actual money to the channel and stuff. to get me to react to those. So I do feel bad about it. So I wanted to bring all of this up because I feel like I let you guys down in a way. Even more than just the people who were directly affected through all of this. I feel like I let all of you down by not living up to my own words. As I've always said, I should only drop a show if one of those couple things happens. Either I don't have the time to react to it anymore and I want to cut back on stuff, or I have no interest in continuing. And I have to get to the point where I have no interest, or at least as close as possible. And neither of those shows got to that point. So I feel like I was lying to you. I feel like I lied to you about all of that. So I need to make up for it. And again, I know that there was that conversation in my Discord server and you guys said, oh, maybe you shouldn't bring back Dofus. It probably wouldn't be worth it. There's going to be a lot of episodes you probably won't like. But at the same time, it's just like, I kind of feel like I have to now. After really giving this thought, I really feel like I have to at least give it another shot. And if I drop it this time, it'll be for a real reason. It'll be because I don't have interest in it. Or if I do have to cut back on shows again. So we'll get to that point when we get to it, if we get to it. But yeah, so I do apologize so much to everyone. And just know that from this point forward, if you donate to the mega streams and you want me to react to a series or whatnot, I will keep this promise. I will react to it until either I finish it or I have a legitimate reason to not react to it anymore. I promise. So please, just know that I want to change this, and I make mistakes. I'm not perfect, and I just want to. I want to learn from those mistakes. So I do thank you for bringing this to my attention, and for saying something here. Honestly, to put it bluntly, I thank you for making me feel like shit. When you brought this to my attention, it made me feel like absolute shit. But I thank you for that because it made me realize what I did. And I don't think you were necessarily like being overly angry or aggressive towards me with what you were saying. I think it almost came across like you felt disappointed. And that's almost worse. It's almost worse if you feel disappointed because then I feel really disappointed. And that's just not a good feeling. So, again, I honestly do very much thank you for bringing this up. And I hope we can go from here. And I hope we can move on and make things better with the channel. And if that eventually means we have to cut down on reactions at some point, then we'll do it. If that means whatever else, we'll make sure it happens. There's a lot of different ways this could go. And we're going to do our best. That's all I can promise you. So thank you. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.